Hey guys, LevelCap here, and we're with Adam Clegg today. Adam, can you tell us a little bit about what you do on Planetside?
Well, I'm a level designer on Planetside too, mainly in charge of the biolab and other larger outposts like the Crown and Vanu archives. I've made a lot of other facilities and other large and small outposts on the game.
So you're the guy who designed the Crown, a place where probably everybody who has played Planetside has died many times. The thing must be colored red by now. Maybe you should go back and update the textures and just paint it red. How awesome is it to have designed the Crown, which is Planetside? It's almost like Planetside dust if it were a Counter-Strike analogy. Just crazy popular place to fight.
Well, I think it worked out because it's right in the center of the map and everyone kind of gravitates towards it. At first it didn't look like that. It looked very different. We went in and play tested it, and it wasn't really up to standards, so then I went in and redesigned it. And that's when I put the 2 buildings on the back side, and I put the 2 other buildings on the front side right around the tower. And then environment art does a lot after that. The environment artists paint all of the terrain, and they raise a lot of the terrain. They're the ones that put the path along the back, they put the paths down and the bridge to the right. And so I basically place the foundation, and then they go in and make it look really, really good. So I think a combination of all those things and it being in the center was what made it a really awesome place to fight.
Cool, man. So with the biolabs then, you've told me before that you have to have reason behind every piece of art in the game. It can't just be like, look, here's a giant floating this or whatever. There has to be a reason for it. Why are the biolabs elevated off the ground?
So the lore of the game is the warring factions found this planet and they landed all these things from space. So the biolab with the legs looks like it came from outer space and then landed onto the ground. And so you see that with the legs on the amps, on the tech plant and on the amp station. So that's kind of the lore behind it. We also wanted to raise it just because we thought it would be fun to elevate the infantry only area, because every infantry only area is always on the ground.
Right.
So we wanted to bring it up, have it be in the air. It looks amazing when we finally got our piece and put it in the game, and you're in game and you're looking at it. We're just like, okay, this looks awesome. So that was kind of the backstory behind why it was in the air. And then once it's in the air, I had free reign to kind of do whatever I wanted on the inside of the area, because I knew it was going to be protected from tanks. So I kind of got to, play around and make my own little FPS mini-map type of thing, even though it's a big area.
It's awesome, man. And we were talking earlier, you're saying how it's not going to be in at launch, but eventually you would like to do some more customization, differentiate some of the internals of the biolabs?
Yeah, so a lot of what we do is structured around performance. Our game is 2,000 players all at the same time, so everything we do has to make sure it performs well. When I first made the biolab, it didn't look like that at all. It had a lot more objects, it had a lot more brush, the whole thing was like a jungle, and it was really cool. But when you flew over it, it just killed your performance because you're loading 100 million objects. So I had to scale back and scale back and scale back, and now we have our pretty much final layout. What I want to do is I want to take all the same pieces and kind of rearrange them. So since I'm not adding more to the biolab and I'm not taking away, it'll perform the same, but it'll be in a different layout. And that's something I really want to do post-launch. See what happens. Play it. Maybe it sucks. Maybe it doesn't. So we'll see what happens.
So, you have an awesome position in terms of you got to mess around with the Crown, you got to mess around with the biolabs. These are going to be some of the most fought over places in all of Planetside, and you have designed them down to their minute details. The gameplay with the biolabs has changed immensely, from galaxies being spawn points to not being spawn points, to jump pads landing you on the pads, to teleporters taking you up, to all different ways of getting in there. How do you feel about a lot of the combat right now? I noticed takes place on the landing pad and then the inside. And for the guys on the landing pad, you've got 2 bits of cover. Are you happy with how that works out currently?
Well, no, I'm not. And the tasks that I have right now, actually, when I'm going to go back to work, I have a task to redo a lot of what we're doing. We're going to put more cover outside the teleporter rooms. It's all exclusive, by the way. Nobody knows this.
Yeah.
More cover outside the teleporter rooms. All 3 spots where you can come out. The jump pads that take you to the landing pads are going to take you to the back of the landing pads, and they're going to be cover right when you land, like kind of railings and boxes. So it kind of makes it so you don't just die right when you come up.
Firing line waiting for you.
Those are 2 of the things that we're going to do right away. Another thing that we're looking at is the death lift that takes you up to the thing. The main design behind the biolab was you're supposed to take the teleporters. People are spawning at the satellites or the forward spawns. They're not seeing the teleporter right away. It's not being called out well enough, and they just run right past it, and they run right to the biolab and go up the airlifts. So there's a lot of communication that needs to be handled there. So when you spawn at a forward spawn, you know exactly how to get into the lab, and you know that you're right next to it. And that's going to help a lot too, because it's going to make the defenders have to watch the teleporters. It's going to create more circular gameplay inside the lab. And I think it'll be for the better.
Awesome. Is there any sort of bits of info you can give us about maybe something you're working on for Amerish, or maybe some of the upcoming continents that they announced last night?
Well, right now we're all hands on deck on Amerish, so we're not really working on the other continents just yet. But one of the things that we are doing is we're making choke points at every facility. On the other continents, when you drive by a facility, you drive right by the forward spawns, all those satellite outposts. You drive right by them, you go right to the facility. So on Amerish, we're going to make sure that every road that takes you to each side of the facility is a choke point of the forward spawn, which means you will always know where the enemy is coming from. They'll just never surprise you all of a sudden. You'll know where they're contesting, and that has happened at every facility. So it's really cool right now. I've been seeing all of the level designers, and I've seen all the facilities, what they're doing, and we all have our different style, and it's coming out like really well. So.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks so much for the interview. Keep up the awesome work on Planetside. And if you're playing Planetside right now, chances are you're playing at someplace custom designed by Adam. So thanks a lot, man.
Thanks a lot. Keep making great videos.
I will.
Thanks.